don't bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me. You're my way. I know the sight of a gun makes you scream, man. Can't help it, I was born in Texas. Get my head, I was swiveling around. When it's right, there's a path we aside, cause I'm burnt, not observed. And we choose to keep it on our hands. Inside the waistband with the city sexy. Spend the rest of we don't say it for the begging. I'd rather have it than not need it, than not having it happens. Sorry, it's you I don't need. Can't help me nor save me. That night gives me some peace of mind. Can't blame me nor save me. Running away, running away. That is not my forte. Running away, running away, running away. That is not my forte. Don't bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me. You're my way. Got control what they spell. Fighting God's control is all it's about. Let me be, yes, clear, let's get back. We don't care what the other countries do, what they gotta do with me. My voice, my choice, each gift. Sorry, it's you I don't need. Can't help me nor save me. That night gives me some peace of mind. Can't blame me nor save me. I don't care that you're scared of a rifle. You don't even know what's a magazine pipe down. The police don't protect that you march. You scared of the guns and you want me disarmed. Don't get it twisted if I had to walk past. So I'm an enemy, both of you in the counts. Cause I'm shoes to the mask. Sorry, it's you I don't need. Can't help me nor save me. That night gives me some peace of mind. Can't blame me nor save me. Running away, running away, running away. That is not my forte. Don't bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me.
Better be prepared to die. You close the eye, but I watch from the darkness. Better be prepared to die. You return your taste, but you ain't rewind. Let me take you on a dark ride. Really, it's a dark tale. Many people died, not a single person went to jail. It was an accident, but what the hell? The video store would close, they never tell. When the taste fell over, no justice for Jacob, it seems game over. So they buried that body and moved on, but the old VHS rewind and lived on. He changed many hands over the years, from basement to attic, but never getting clean. Let me make this clear. This box has a legend, buried under thick and dust, it was protected. Till that one fateful day at a local yard sale, some T's wanna play, so they picked up the VHS and went home. But the spirit of Jacob is sure to come along. Better be prepared to die. We closed the eye, but I watch from the darkness. Better be prepared to die. You returned your taste, but you ain't rewind. Better be prepared to die. We closed the eye, but I watch from the darkness. Better be prepared to die. You returned your taste, but you ain't rewind. Now a story calls Blake and his best buddy Chad. They went to a sale, bought the best deal they had. They went on home and they started unpacking. Taste of every kind, horror, drama, and action. Pat comes in with a little brother Corey. Taste starts rewinding, here's the twist in the story. Little Jacob comes back, and much like the trail, be prepared for the yes. No pizza girl is safe, no party girls either. No summer party massacre when Jacob comes over. It's bloody guts will hit the floor from the ripped open stomach of a back alley whore. People call the cops, they getting dropped next. Hammers to the skull, or maybe slit necks. It's all up to Pan to say this time, so please be kind and you better rewind. Better be prepared to die. We closed the eye, but I I watch from the darkness and be prepared to die. You return your takes, but you ain't free. Don't better be prepared to die. We close the eye, but I watch from the darkness and be prepared to die. You return your takes, but you ain't free. Don't.
20 years ago, a prank took his life.
Remember, you can't tell anybody about this or you're dead.
A curse was born. The quiet little town of Brower, Illinois moved on.
So what happened?
One day, he just up and disappeared. I say it doesn't add up. There's something we're missing here.
Until...
My husband, God rest his soul, he was obsessed with that video store. All kinds of weird things used to happen there.
Yeah, fascinating. Hope you sell the rest of your shit, lady.
What's all that?
We hit a bunch of garage sales today and got all these movies and stuff.
Yeah, check it out. Thought we could maybe like hook this thing up, see if there's any like homemade porn, snuff films.
You guys bought VCR and Rewinder? You know you don't really need this. Was this supposed to sound like that? Probably not, but it's seen better days.
At least it still works.
Must be my lucky day.
And now, Jacob is back.
911, what's your emergency?
My friends, there's blood everywhere. They're all hurt. They're hurt real bad.
Sir, are you there?
No, I'm sorry! No.
TapeHead, the return of Jacob Cobb.
It's Brower, Illinois. What's the worst that could happen?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
And finally, Cyber Skull Media has come back to the internet, and I am echoing like a mofo in Shade's mic tonight. So, hopefully that course corrects as we go. This is the Cyber Skull Lounge on Cyber Skull Media. Probably going to be our last group lounge until September at the very soonest. So we are pleased to have a great guest tonight. But I am joined by my most epic of co-hosts.
They call me Shades.
And our guest, Mr.
Dillon Weeks, Jacob Cobb, TapeHead.
That's right. We have TapeHead himself. We had the director, the mind who created TapeHead, Mr. Dustin Matson, on here a few weeks back. You can see the full interview on our channel or several clips that we cut out from that. Otherwise, we've got Dillon tonight, and it's going to be great. Yeah. We were trying to fix some audio issues before we started the stream, but this is the best that we could come up with.
I gotta step my game up if I'm gonna be a pro at this.
We gotta get TapeHead his own interview set up,
his own
content creation set up. Get him
That's what my wife's been pushing me for.
But all I have to say is, it's Brower, Illinois. What's the worst that could happen? Well, you could wake up next to Thundy, and that's the worst that could happen.
For promos, I got this B hat for Brower. If anybody asks, that's what it stands for.
All right, that works. So, what are we doing here tonight? Well, we're gonna do some interviews. We got a few questions that we're gonna ask Mr. Weeks. We're also gonna be eating some of this flaming dragon salsa. Mr. Dillon over there has. He's never had it before. If you watch our channel, we ate it on our 3-year anniversary stream, and it's got a little bit of kick. What do you think, Shades?
It definitely ooey. It's pretty good though.
Yes, it's pretty good. So
I think he will enjoy it.
I'm excited.
We'll go with that.
because we all know that Mr. Dillon Weeks likes to make hot sauce. We still
Yeah.
have some TapeHead hot sauce from the short days. And it's on our wheel. Speaking of our wheel, if you tip $10 tonight, every $10 is a hot shot. What's a hot shot, you may ask? Well, we've got a little roulette wheel that has all of our open hot sauces in the fridge on it. And whatever one it lands on, we add to a shot of alcohol. So for every $10 tonight, that will be happening. And it can get crazy because even if it's not a hot sauce, it usually tastes disgusting. So there's a trade-off either way. Speaking of things you should spend money on, dropping the link in the chat. If you don't have your copy of TapeHead, if you don't have a TapeHead t-shirt yet or a 3B t-shirt yet, you can find one at the link in the chat. Once the flat bill hats come back in stock, you can bet your ass I'm getting a 3B flat bill. So, you got anything else to add, Mr. Shades, before we hop into these questions?
Negative, sir. I'm ready to just spitball some shit at him.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Well, first off, Mr. Dillon, would you introduce yourself? Maybe give us a little bit of history on you so that people know who you are and what your deal is.
Yeah, man. Southwest Iowa native, born and raised in Red Oak. Longtime indie movie fan, horror movie fan. Family guy, happily married, 3 kids, living the American dream.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yes. Well, let me pull up my questions here and we will get rolling. If anybody in the chat has any questions, we will open up a time to ask questions here in a little bit. And we'll get started. So, where did your love or interest in the horror movie genre start? Also,
man.
what's your favorite horror movie and favorite horror icon?
So, started when I was pretty young. My mom was a big horror fan, big reader, big Stephen King fan. So I remember watching Cujo, probably way too young. Children of the Corn, way too young. So those movies kind of opened the door for me. And then as it progressed, I just tried to get everything I could. Go to the video store, rent horror movies, and tried to clean out that whole section. Eventually stumbled across Friday the 13th movies. Friday 6 is my all-time favorite. Jason Voorhees, my favorite slasher. A lot of my behaviors and whatnot in the TapeHead series stem from that.
Nice. So you would say your favorite movie and horror icon?
Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. C.J. Graham is the man. Jason Voorhees is my guy.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I have not seen all the Friday the 13th movies. To be fair, there is a lot of them, and like I've told people, I'm a late bloomer when it comes to horror movies. So I didn't get into horror until just a few years ago. And my eyes have been wide open to thank to Mr. Dustin Matson. I have watched a lot of things I didn't even know existed because of his recommendations. So if you ever need a good horror movie recommendation, you can ask 3B Video. They will give it to you.
Oh, yeah. He still recommends a lot of stuff to me. I thought I'd seen it all, and he's got just a huge arsenal. He's always busting out something I haven't seen yet.
So, yes, well, speaking of Mr. Dustin, would you like to roll into the next question, Shades?
Yeah. What were your initial reactions and thoughts to playing TapeHead the very first time Dustin asked you?
Good question, man. So we were just kind of going through. This is going on 3 years, when this thing first started to pop up. October of 2020, he was looking to do another short film. He did a really cool Halloween episode for 3B Video, and he wanted to do a bigger Halloween special. And initially, he wanted me to play a villain in that. And it kind of transitioned into TapeHead. I've known Dustin for a long time, probably 15 years now. So whenever he wants to do something, I had zero doubt that he was going to accomplish it, so I didn't have to think about it. I mean, it was an instant yes. It could have been anything, and I was down for it. So I was honored, man. I think that's actually my response was I'd be honored, to do anything. When he's had me on his show, it's always a privilege. So anytime I can work with that guy, anything he wants me to do, I'll do it.
Nice.
Yeah. So how did you mentally and physically prepare for this role? Because I know that it was a lot of work being under everything you were under for all the hours plus the lights, and you were looking yoked as fuck, my dude.
Thank you, man. So mentally, I'm a pretty nice dude, so it's hard to get into that mindset. The nice thing is, under the mask, people can't see me like grinning ear to ear the whole time. It's a treat, man. I love it. The nicest dude to ever kill everybody in Broward, Illinois. But mentally, I went back to a lot of my favorite. Like I said, CJ Graham's a big influence. Kane Hodder. Kind of go through, watch those movies a lot. Watch mannerisms. You don't want to just mimic what somebody else has done. You want to do your own thing. But there's a lot of guys that have done it and done it well, so you can take a lot from that. As far as the physical part, I've always been pretty active, as far as lifting weights, strength training, things like that. Pretty athletic guy. I definitely knew for the first one, I set a goal I wanted to get to 215. I was usually about 200 to 205 is what I walk around at. So put on 10 to 15, pretty good pounds. And slimmed down a little bit between. I didn't want to carry that around if I didn't have to. And then as soon as we started talking the return of Jacob Cobb, changed my program. I wanted to get up to 225 was the goal I set for myself. So yeah, like the eating part's the hardest, trying to squeeze in 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. Working out, I mean, I've done that since I was 11, 12 years old. That part's easy. The nutrition and the eating part was the biggest challenge. So yeah, man, making sure I'm just like eating constantly. Shifted my training program more to like a time under tension routine. My cousin, luckily, is a athletic coordinator, strength and conditioning coach. He was at Baylor. He was at University of Pennsylvania. So he sent me some of his research on time under tension. So a lot of my routine was not so much focused on sets and reps, but time. How long was my body under stress? How long was each set? So the size came on pretty quick. I don't really have much of a challenge bulking up. There's some complications with carrying that much weight on my frame. So I'm naturally a pretty small guy. Doctor was not happy with my size. Blood pressure wasn't happy with my body. My wife wasn't happy with me. So there's a lot that goes into that. But man, I went 110%. I gave everything. And I just kept telling the doctor, I'm like, just a little bit more. I gotta do this. When Drew Marvick flew in, I was probably almost 230 maybe. I had a couple, 3-4 weeks probably between shooting and then when he got here in September, and I wasn't sweating it out under the mask, so I could maintain that size pretty well. And so yeah, when he got here, I was the biggest I've ever been. And then it's been a slow decline back to a healthy weight since then. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of work, a lot of mental fortitude to sit down and eat another meal or force feed yourself some calories just to get where you need to go.
Yeah, I do that all the time, but there's a completely different effect on my body.
Yeah.
Mr. 3B Video said TapeHead 2. TapeHead takes Gold's Gym.
Hey, I always tell everybody, and I want to be humble and gracious. I don't want to teeter on being cocky or arrogant. That's just not my personality. But when we were doing this, my mindset is that I'm the baddest slasher villain out there. I feel like you put TapeHead against anybody. I like my odds. So I kind of went into it knowing that, the teens that I come across are no match for me. The people of Broward, they're no match. And really, there's nobody out there in horror that I feel could take TapeHead.
I like that response. Well, speaking of eating things, should we try this salsa out?
Let's do it.
Ooh. All right, let us get ours. We'll get it. crack it open? Because we'll eat it with you. That's only fair, right?
I appreciate that.
All right. Let me go grab that. And if you would like to ask the next question, Shades.
Okay. All right. So, what were your inspirations or influences in bringing this character to life? And what did you do to carve out your own unique style as an original character?
As I mentioned, CJ Graham, I've said it in some of our other interviews and stuff as well. Kane Hodder is obviously a very influential. Jason Voorhees. There's a lot of people that have put on a mask and been a killer, but not a lot of those guys are memorable. You know what I mean? There's people that, all kinds of movies out there, a lot of indie horror, even big budget horror. They try to come up with an iconic killer. I wanted Jacob Cobb, Tapehead, to be memorable. I want him to stand out. I wanted menace, right? There's a lot of humor in the Tapehead series, but I didn't ever want Jacob Cobb to be somebody that was funny, right? You don't look at that guy and think he's silly. You don't think he's comical. I had that mentality that anytime I was on screen that I was going to be a threat. I wanted people to be intimidated. I want that to come across on screen. So that piece of it, there's some of the lumbering movements, but we talked a lot before we filmed this one that there's some explosiveness. There's some lunges, some bigger moves. He's not just going to slowly walk and catch everybody that sprints. So we took a different approach with it.
Well, I like the approach that you took. There's a few things that there's one question later on we're gonna teeter around so that we don't give spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen the movie yet. But most of the questions we got tonight aren't gonna revolve around anything that could be spoilerish, because again, brand new movie. This is the first interview any one of you have done since it premiered on Wednesday. So we don't want to give any big reveals away tonight, but we've got some good questions, and we'll get into the mind of Tapehead. Getting in the mind of Tapehead, it took a lot of fortitude, as it will take a lot of fortitude to eat this salsa. So, yes, but I figured I would come over there and get a scoop, and then we can give it a go.
I'm a little nervous, man. Oh, I'm big, man. I've eaten crazy stuff. I've been in this pepper community for a minute now.
We may have to have you guest join one of our spicy videos we do here at the end of the year.
Tapehead can't get his open. I left all my power on the screen.
Oh man, I just licked my thumb and got a seed. Oh boy. So for those who are wondering what this is, it's called Flaming Dragon Salsa. Smiley House Farms out of Farragut grew everything but the final pepper in this. So the peppers that are in this: jalapeno, habanero, ghost pepper, viper pepper, Carolina Reaper, and dragon's breath pepper. We had a fan of ours, or a member of our community, thought he was sending us a dragon's breath pepper to eat. Turns out it was a whole ass plant. So we took that whole ass plant. Shays dubbed him Jorge, and we had him for 2 or 3 years. He finally died. He finally perished. My mom was keeping him alive and getting peppers off of him. We've still got some in the freezer. But Jorge lives on because Charity from Smiley House Farms has seeds from the peppers. So the children of Jorge shall live on, and there will be more salsa in the future. So we tried this. It got a pretty good kick. So whenever you are ready, we will partake.
I want people to know, no half-ass.
No half-ass.
No, going in.
It looks like half-ass to me. I mean, if you look and you compare.
All right, now I'm full ass.
Cheers. It's quite juicy.
It's good. Good flavor, man. Yeah, it got me on the tongue pretty good. Like straight out of the chip. Real good tongue burn. Not a bad throat burn. It's pretty sweet. It's hot, man.
It just builds. It builds. Uh-oh.
Did you get the hiccups?
Yep.
Oh, man, you got them bad. I'm a little red.
Oh.
Man. That's hot.
Yeah?
I sweat through my new hat.
What's the hottest thing you've ever eaten?
Real good friend of mine, Randy Pappas, he had his own brand, Twister Peppers. He created a hybrid, and I've eaten Reapers. I've eaten 7-Pot Primos, Chocolate Bootlas. Probably the 20 hottest peppers on any list. I've eaten them. Randy brought me a Twister one time, and it was weird. Straight out of the pot, I ate the whole thing. It was probably like at 8, and it just kept building, and it built for like 30 minutes before it peaked. It messed me up, man. I was sweating. I was at work. We used to do a show every Wednesday. He'd bring a pepper. We'd eat it on camera, like a live stream. I'd review it, and I would do it on my lunch hour so I could kind of recover. And it took me out. I was hiding in the back room, sweating, trying to get cooled off. About 2 o'clock, I threw it up. It messed me up bad.
Nice. Well, usually when someone eats this is their first reaction.
Mother of God.
Oh. Or.
No, like I said, once you've had a super hot, you kind of know what to expect. But man, I haven't done that for a while, so my tolerance isn't what it used to be. So it's got a serious kick, man. It's probably like on a 10, it's like a 6, 7. It's hot.
Right? It's not like, oh, this is killing me, but for the like we like to say, the casual player when it comes to spice isn't gonna like this.
Oh,
but
no.
But if you're playing on legendary mode when it comes to
for your jalapeno
stuff,
guys, this will put them down.
Right, you'll appreciate this if you're used to spice. There we go. He went back for more. That's my boy. Yeah. That's my boy.
Got great flavor.
So anyone in chat right now who wants to give this a go, let us know. Especially if you want to make a video about it. If you don't, I guess there's just this one thing we have to say.
I am a Rudy Poo candy ass.
I ain't got nothing from you, Shades.
So I let my daughter eat some, and she eats it, but she's fine, doing all great. And then out of nowhere, she tries to talk words, and it was complete gibberish. None of it made sense.
You gave her a stroke, man.
Not that good, huh?
Yeah, we had a friend try it and reaches into the bag of scoops, somehow pulls out the flattest chip in the bag, barely gets any on the chip, and goes, "Oh, that's not that bad." Shades leaves to go upstairs. He gets out another scoop, gets it down in there. Made a mistake. He's like, "I woke up at 3 a.m. in pain." But usually people who can handle spice are going to be able to handle this. They're not going to wake up in the middle of the night. They're not going to be in pain the next day. But we do have medicated dude wipes if you need to borrow some.
No, I'm good.
But yes, enjoy that at your leisure. Thank you for trying it out and giving us your opinion on it.
Thank you.
Get back to Miss Charity. And yeah, we look forward to doing more spicy stuff with people on our channel. So
yeah, I like the heat, man.
Good stuff.
I'm tearing up. I can feel it. When we first did it, I'm like, oh, my ear's burning. Like, what the hell? But
yeah, I've had a few that made my ears ring. It's a weird sensation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the shade. Like, I thought I felt it in my ear, but I didn't want to say anything. I thought it was crazy.
No, that happens. That's not that uncommon. Like on Super Hots, man, a really good one. It'll make your ears ring.
I just get the hiccups.
That's how you can tell if it's super hot. Like before you even get it all the way down, you start to get the hiccups.
Yeah, Groovy said it's what that will do on the back end that scares me.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
3B's right. Like a weird endorphin rush. The hot stuff gives you an endorphin rush. You can get a Spicer's high. It feels pretty great. But definitely hotter than anything you're going to see on Hot Ones, that's for sure.
Oh, man, the Hot Ones is gimmicky. You know, I don't want to be that guy and try to act like I'm cooler than that. But, yeah, that stuff, even the last dab, it's all right.
For a casual observer, like, they're going to try it and it's going to be hot. But for people who eat hot shit, like, some of these have great flavors. Some of them taste awful, but none of them are something I wouldn't just eat anytime.
Yeah.
No.
But, well, speaking of other things that were hot, I kind of want to talk about the costuming process a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of got 3 parts to this question. So we kind of want to talk about the makeup, the mask, how long it took to get into full costume, how much you could actually see, if it made you feel claustrophobic, and then the difficulty of bringing emotion through the character with wearing all that makeup, that mask, and not actually being very vocal as far as words are concerned.
Yeah. So yeah, this go round, we got a mask from CFX Masks, and I loved it. It weighs less than half what the old mask weighed. My neck and head here, they're a little bigger than average, so it fit really snug. I could do more emoting. You know, you could see more facial tics and things like that, jaw movement. I could bring some physical behaviors to the facial features. As far as makeup goes, anytime you see my face unvisored, up close, there's a lot of makeup underneath, around the eyes, the yellow contact lenses, around the mouth, so you don't really see like any of my human flesh. So that took a little while. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's not like a super complex makeup job. It's just some black makeup around the eyes. But you have to fully cover the eyelids, almost like eyeliner, so you don't see the flesh tones. I don't want to counter what the mask has. It gives it that really deep sunk-in look. So anytime the VHS tape is off, you know, he looks pretty gnarly. Anytime I didn't have that, it was pretty quick. You know, we would use, it's called thick water, rubbing alcohol sometimes just to kind of lubricate my head and my arms to slide on the gloves and the mask. Not a long process. I can get in and out of costume in a couple minutes. It's hot as hell. Like I said, much lighter than the first movie's mask, but still add the gloves to it, so it's kind of like a trade-off. You know, it still comes out about the same as far as heat. You know, we film in the summer as well. I got coveralls and a thermal, latex gloves and a mask. So it wasn't uncommon to sweat off double digits in water weight. I think there was a weekend, I think we did a 3-day shoot. It was pretty hectic, a lot of setups. And I think from Friday to Monday, my weight was about 17 pounds difference.
All right, then.
So, yeah, man, cutting from middleweight to welterweight almost.
Right, the TapeHead diet today. 3V said, try to get him in and out as fast as possible, but it was insanely warm.
Yeah, dude, he's a hero, man. He was pushing water on me. Not stubborn, I guess, but man, when I'm in full go, I don't really want to slow down, even against my own better judgment. I just want to knock it out. I love wearing that costume. I love being that character. I want to film as much as we can. And Dustin's incredibly generous and caring about all of his performers. You know, the cast and crew, he takes care of everybody. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's the safest, most comfortable, laid-back atmosphere. You guys have seen the movie. You've seen some of the outtakes during the credits. Everybody's laughing. You know, when we're not rolling, it's fun. You know, it's a laid-back atmosphere. Everybody's taken care of. Dude's a saint.
So how hard was it to see out of that thing?
This time it was awesome, man, because we had a better fitting mask. And the visor, Dustin came up with the idea to give it kind of an eye hole, make it look damaged, melted a little hole in there so I could see. And man, once I put the new visor on and the new mask, it was like a night and day difference. You know, I could move, I could be as fast and agile as I wanted. I didn't have to worry about running into shit. It was amazing. You know, I was 95% blind for the first movie. I had nothing but a sliver of peripheral vision. Man, this time I could see, I could move, I could turn my head, I could move my face. Just CFX Mask really makes a quality product, and you know we'll shout them out all day. It was awesome.
Nice. Well, you know, speaking of that, there was a lot of great effects in the movie, a lot of great physical stuff, some great props. Speaking of props, I'd like to ask the next question, Shades.
You used several weapons in this movie. What was your favorite? And I noticed that one of the axes looked funny. So how many of those did you use?
The axes?
Yeah.
So that would be my favorite. The whip pan technique on the knife throw is pretty awesome. But yeah, the axe. In the artwork for the first movie, and the sticker and some of the cool stuff we put out, like we had an axe, but I never used it in the first movie. We knew the axe was going to be pretty key in this one. But there was a real axe, obviously, for the door chop. There was one replica that was like kind of a foam rubber, and then we had a third axe that was like a half, so we could show like impact.
Okay. Always find it fascinating with props because people don't realize how many of different things you need in case something goes wrong, or different takes, or you're stabbing someone. There's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize when they're watching the films. So, slasher films often include intense chase or fight sequences. How did you approach the action scenes, and do you have any prior experience or training in combat or stunts?
No, well, I mean, a little bit. Wrestled back in the day. I've taken karate and Muay Thai, so I've got some fighting experience. But as far as like stunts go, it's just athleticism. You know, no background per se. We knew when we were going into this thing that there was going to be some more intense showdowns. TapeHead was going to be more violent. He was going to have more burst. It's just kind of lifelong activity, man. A background in just fitness and being pretty athletic.
Yeah, because the action scenes were real fun in this one. Had some.
Oh, I loved it, man. I always want to do more stunt work. Anthony Pond. We always have really good showdowns, and I've told anybody that'll listen that guy he can outperform anybody in Hollywood. I promise. He's an elite stunt guy. He can backflip, do the splits, handstand, push-ups, anything you could think of. That guy can do it. He can do it better than anybody else.
Well, Shades.
Next question.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, how did you establish chemistry and rapport with the other actors? What was it like working with Dustin on this project?
As far as this cast and crew, if you've seen the first one, there aren't really survivors. So there's a few returning faces in different roles. So like I said, Anthony, he and I have an existing chemistry. The new cast and crew, I actually sat in for one of the cast members. He couldn't make it for the initial line reads. I filled in. As Dustin was writing, he would send me script pages as he was getting them done. So I was kind of familiar with what each character was going to be. And then when he had the actual actors cast for those roles, I went into the line reads and really got a good feel. Obviously, Tyson, he's family. He's like a little nephew to me. Love that kid. So he and I have known each other a long time. I knew he was going to be phenomenal. The other people, met them for the first time. We sat down to read lines. And the chemistry was pretty instant. I think it plays really well on screen as well. Zoe and Tyson, they legitimately act like brother and sister. It's supernatural. It's just a smooth rapport they have. Blake and Chad, those guys got along really well. They were strangers. Hunter came up from Kansas City. Dakota's from here. So, they hadn't met before, but they just had a really good friendship. And a lot of it is off camera. Everybody's just having a good time. My chemistry with them is when I'm not in costume, I'm there sometimes feeding lines, hyping everybody up. I'm everybody's biggest fan. When we're filming, I love everybody's performances, and if they kind of stumble or get stuck on certain parts, I'm there to encourage. I just love everybody, man.
Awesome.
Everybody love everybody.
So, are there any funny or interesting behind-the-scenes stories that occurred during the production of the film that you'd like to share?
Oh man, we don't have enough time for all that. No, I mean there's a lot of fond memories. I remember every moment of the shoots, and it's incredibly fond. I love what we were able to do. Like I said, Anthony and I have some pretty good stunt performance in this movie. We scripted, and Dustin scripted, and then he and I kind of walked through and worked out our fight scene. I took a shotgun to the face in the film where he swings a shotgun. When we were kind of mapping that out, I missed my grab, so I took a shotgun to the face. Falling through some other, I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, some other falls. I got hung up on stuff. There's a lot of goofs, a lot of fun. When people kind of butcher lines, you get some pretty funny stuff out of that.
Groovy said, "Oh man, I remember seeing that. Looked like it hurt."
Yeah, it wasn't fun. Got me right in the cheek, like right under the glasses. I got the butt of a shotgun right in the face. And my first reaction was, I hope somebody filmed it.
Did anyone film it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got a ton of footage of that. I think we got like 3 different camera angles on cell phones.
Nice. 3B says, was it difficult to be mean to them since everyone got along so well?
No, not really. Like I said, for me, it's fun to play so far out of my personality type. Once the mask goes on, then, I want to be scary and threatening, but at the same time, as soon as we're done, as soon as it's cut, I'm giving fist bumps and high fives, and I don't know, man, I can turn it off and on pretty easily. It wasn't really hard to pretend like I wanted them to die. When Dustin wrote the script, he wrote all these characters to elicit a lot of emotional response. So there are certain characters that, you really fall in love with. There are certain characters, even for me watching, I'm like, man, can't wait to get this one. This one's on my list.
Dick.
So yeah, that's good writing right there.
Yeah, the writing was phenomenal. Dustin has a talent for writing, that is for sure.
Dude, he's a genius, and I don't say that lightly. I don't say that just because he's on the stream here with us. I'm blessed that I get to work with this guy, that he's taking me along on this journey. He's given me this character to inhabit, this world of Broward, Illinois that we inhabit. And he was sending me pages. I was blown away. I was hyping him up more than anybody. I'm like, you need to submit the screenplay. For film festivals, you can do your trailer, you can submit your movie, you can submit your screenplay. This screenplay is phenomenal. I mean, I was laughing out loud. I love it, man. I think, and a lot of the people that have seen this, that's the feedback, is that the writing is amazing. There's no gag laughs. There's nothing cheesy. This is still a horror movie. These people are in grave danger, and you're laughing at their lines because of how they're written. He wrote this so that everybody that plays these characters gets to pretty naturally become them. He wrote it like how people talk. We were just talking before we went on about some of the dialogue. I'm like, man, I was kind of worried about how that might play. There's some insensitive things here and there, but people get it because it's written so well.
Right. If a character is written well, the script is written well, you start to just get sucked into the story and the characters. Sometimes you gotta write characters who are douchebags and dicks, because you always gotta love someone who's like, I can't wait for them to die,
Yeah, all the great horror movies have that. You've got characters that you care about in some way, shape, or form, but you've always got that one that you're like, oh, and they usually reserve like the best kill for those characters because the audience deserves that. You know, they've sat through and listened to this person spew out, you know, ego or hatred or whatever bullshit they've got. You know, you build up an anticipation for it. Man, they better get more than just like a quick stab. You know, they better fucking get it.
I'll just say this: my favorite kill was a mouthful, and we'll just leave it at that.
That was the one I was most excited to do. Like I said, that's his great writing. You know, he had me super stoked to take care of that one.
Yeah, the 3B says safety is paramount. I will say this: Dillon would go from menacing to immediately asking if the other actors were okay.
Yeah, like I said, man, I love all those guys. You know, this cast and crew, we always refer to it as a film family. That's true. You know, it's not just small talk. You know, it's not just empty words. I love these guys. I'd do anything for any of them. You know, in any kind of professional, personal, you name it. You know, any of the ladies on set. You know, somebody's talking shady to them, call me up. You know. And Dustin's the same way. You know, we talk about it a lot. If anybody needs something, man, we're pulling up.
Nice. Nice seeing that kind of camaraderie with everybody on set.
Yeah, you know, as we did the premiere, we got to see the crowd, and the crowd got to see us as a unit. And I think, you know, even off screen, people can tell that we generally care about each other. You know, we're a tight-knit group. You know, we're not just hired guns. You know, we're a low budget film family that shows up and literally everybody gives 110%, not just for Dustin, but for each other. You know, if my performance is weak, it's hard for them to sell it, and vice versa. You know, if they're not selling fear, you know, if they're not selling happiness, sadness, you know, if they're not selling that, then it affects everybody else. So I think everybody really stepped up big.
The question about being a showing in Shenandoah.
Yeah, that's I know Dustin and Megan have been working on that. You know, I know we're going to try to book another one in Red Oak. We kind of got to see what Shenandoah's got in store for us. So if Dustin's still in the chat, maybe he can answer that or kind of give a little bit of an update. But yeah, that one, I haven't been as involved in the Shenandoah booking, so that one I can't speak to.
He said, should be in July. We've been in contact. The ball's in their court. So I knew you guys have been working on it. So when they release the details, they'll post about it online, and we will share it to our Facebook page for sure. Our Facebook page is where we post all of our announcements, updates, things like that. So
yeah, when you see it posted, whatever day it is, come early. You know, we sold out the premiere showing here in Red Oak. I think a half hour before showtime, man, we were at capacity. I know some of the cast and crew stood so more people could get in. You know, probably 115 people got to be there for that. But from what I was told, because I was already in the theater, we probably had another 40 to 50 people that wanted to get in, which is phenomenal. I mean, the showing of the love from our communities. We had people that came from an hour away just to see it. We had some other Omaha-based actor showed up to check us out because he does indie stuff. He wanted to see what we do. Yeah, man, we can pack a house.
Oh, for sure. It was fantastic. We're just sitting there like, man, a half hour in, it's already sold out. We were standing in the back with Dustin and Megan, and you know, it was fun, especially watching it back there, getting to watch their faces while the movie was happening was pretty special. Like, these guys deserve all the praise that they get, and so do you. It's a fantastic film.
Thank you guys for being there, man. It meant a lot. You know, it's always cool to see a comforting face. You know, I enjoy the love you guys have shown us, and having you there for it with us was pretty awesome.
Absolutely. We did some filming that day, but I'm not sure when we're gonna drop that video. But we'll have a video coming about our journey to the premiere. And then we plan on doing a TapeHead review or a live stream movie discussion or something like that on it in the future as well. So we'll wait a little bit so that people can take a peek at it so that we can talk about spoilers at that time. But we're looking forward to it. It was good. I can't wait to watch the with commentary. I haven't gotten to do that yet. So
yeah, man, Dustin and I had a really good time with that commentary. Like I said, we love this project. I love the character. I love everything about this whole Tapehead universe. And I can make these movies until the end of time.
speaking of things that people loved, without going into spoilers, would you like to cover the next question, Shades? Number 10.
Yeah. So we talked with Dustin in his interview about nudity. So what scene made you... Yeah, tell us how that nudity scene made you feel when you first found out about it.
Knowing what I know, we had a little flash in the first Tapehead. Again, man, and I can't hype this crew enough. Dustin and Megan are brilliant. They're loving people. The biggest hearts of anybody I know. I mean, they're phenomenal and they take care of people. So I knew it wasn't going to be anything that was going to be uncomfortable or awkward. The way they handle these things is a closed set. It's Megan and our actress. There's a brief scene where I come into where she is nude, but there's no line of sight there. So yeah, I mean it wasn't anything where I was like concerned or shocked or apprehensive in any way, shape, or form. I knew it was going to be incredibly well done. You guys have seen the movie. It's very tasteful. The audience definitely enjoys what they do get to see, but from a filming standpoint, the way that was shot was her and Megan from her perspective, and then myself and Megan from my perspective. So it's all very well handled, super respectful and tasteful. So yeah, I had no concerns. Like I said, as a happily married guy, I knew I wasn't going to get in trouble when I got home.
Yeah. So it was unexpected and it was fantastic, and I can't wait to be able to actually talk about it with spoilers, because we were all messaging Dustin, Dillon, us during our first viewing when we watched it ahead of the premiere. And so if we had to do some filming or help out that night, we weren't gonna be upset by missing something. And man, the story we got out of that one, just watching it was, oh man, I can't wait to talk about it. It was something. So speaking of
real quick, without spoiling anything about what that is, my son Clayton, who plays Cliff in this movie, in the first one and then in Flashback, he's in the new Tapehead as well. We were over at Dustin's house, hanging out in the video store in the basement, and Dustin hands Clayton this manila envelope, and he's like, "Hey, bud, get me what's in that envelope." And he reaches in and grabs what, and his face was priceless. It was hilarious.
Great. Speaking of nudity, when are we getting Tapehead cheeks on screen? The fans demand it. I hear there's a change.org petition coming soon.
Man, hey, whatever works. Like I said, I'm an actor now. Dustin says none of us are professionals, but we're getting there. Yeah, whatever the Tapehead calendar, whatever merch we need. If it helps fund the next movie, then put it on the agenda.
Tapehead boudoir calendar.
Hey, Megan's the photographer.
Tapehead the calendar.
Yeah,
we should have had you on here a long time ago, because now on my Shades After Dark, I'm an actor. I mean,
yeah, I'm on IMDb. I'm a big deal now. I don't have a booty cheek clause in my contract, so if the people speak, it's out there.
I'm just waiting to see hashtag Tapehead cheeks trending on Twitter.
Get it going. If the people speak, it'll be there.
Well, speaking of socials, I didn't mention that at the beginning. Mr. Dillon has various usernames on different socials. So we've got the Instagram on the screen here. If you'd like to see his Facebook or Twitter, it is linked in the description, along with the link of where to get your Tapehead or 3B video merch, or where you can order your very own movie. So you want to follow him on Instagram, it's at Chucky3030. You want to follow them on Twitter or Facebook, those links are in the description, and it will take you right there.
Fair warning, though. The TapeHead Blu-ray DVDs, you're going to have to step your game up because Thundy and I have like 6 copies.
Well, we will be giving one away at the end of the stream because we are getting close to being wrapped, actually, with our conversation. So we'll give this away at the end, and anybody who wants one, we'll get it taken care of. So if you'd like to move on to the next question, Shades.
What were some of the challenges that you faced portraying this character? How did you overcome them?
The biggest thing, I mean, it's just the heat, really. I don't complain. Dustin knows that. He watches me closer than I ever verbalize. So yeah, the cramping. When you sweat out that much, man, it's fatigue. Yeah, as far as challenges go, this is kind of my second go round. We really knew what we wanted to bring to the screen this time. The first film was a short. We got to flex a little bit. It's all over. If you watch the special features on the first movie, like almost verbatim. Dustin, Megan, myself, even Clayton. Let's go darker. Let's make him scarier. Let's be menacing. So we kind of knew what we wanted to do, and I was really kind of torn back and forth of getting really lean to make him look kind of more emaciated. And then, and Dustin, he gives me creative freedom. He's like, hey, whatever you think is best for what you want to do. And I was like, nah, being skinny is not my cup of tea. So I decided he was going to be big, he was going to be scary. But like I said, the challenges with that are you get fatigued, you get winded, you sweat a hell of a lot more when you're carrying that much weight on your frame. I think Dustin was pretty generous. He told you guys I was like 5'9". I'm 5'7". So to carry 200 and, like I said, close to 230 pounds in September when we filmed, that's a lot on my frame. It was hard physically on me, but I mean, that was really the biggest challenge. Like I said, I knew exactly who I wanted to be and how I wanted to come across. I didn't have any performance challenges. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, you come home and you're just spent. You're just wiped out.
So speaking of, we talked about your challenges now. So what was your favorite part about playing TapeHead?
Man, being a slasher. I mean, not to put a huge umbrella on it that it crams under. That might be kind of a stock answer, but guys like me and Dustin that have grown up, influenced by these movies, to put myself in that role to be a slasher villain. We're not pretentious. We're not going to say he's an icon, but at our level, there's potential there. This character could really grow. We're going to push this thing. Almost like in the music world, somebody puts out an album and then they tour behind it. We've got this thing out there for the world to see. I want people to look at Jacob Cobb and put him on the same pedestal or the same conversation as, for modern day Art the Clown. I mention him a lot, and it's not coming from a point of dislike. It's coming from a point of competitiveness. If he's the guy right now, then he's in my sights. That's in my crosshairs. I want to overtake somebody like that. He started off as an indie horror character. Art the Clown started off in short film. I started off in a short. We've significantly grown with our second film. Terrifier grew significantly in their second film. So I look at people like that and I want to overtake them. Like I said, it might sound bold and it might sound kind of pretentious. It comes from a humble place. I'm not an arrogant guy at all. I mean, you guys know me and we have good conversations and, we're cool. I don't have any ego or I'm not brash. I'm not cocky. I'm a very gracious and humble guy. So that the fact that Dustin let me inhabit this character and bring life to him, and I've got an opportunity to really face some of these people, it's not taken lightly. I want to give everything I can to Dustin and Megan. They gave me this role. He saw fit to put me in this. It's been a great fit, and I want to push this character as far as I can. And, it might end up being big, and it might not, maybe not. Maybe it stays as an indie horror classic, and that's absolutely fine as well. But we've got big plans. We want to make more projects. I want to do roles without the mask. I want to play different characters, but also the drop of a hat, man. I put on that Jacob Cobb costume, and I don't care if it's 120 degrees. I'll shoot 12 hours a day, and Dustin knows that, and he won't let me. But he knows I would.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Terrifier. That's a crazy. It's refreshing, I guess. Coming is not being some bloated big studio production. And I know the second one is Dustin's favorite horror movie of all time.
Like I said,
it's not.
Yeah, like I said, we'll be careful. We're not going to battle rap. We're not going to put people. We're not going to go at people just for clout or try to get some attention. But the Terrifier 2 thing, people looked at that, and it broke a lot of ground. Because of that, you get Winnie the Pooh movie that got theatrical release. Yes, you got Skinamarink, which very polarizing film, but it got a theatrical release. But Terrifier 2 had a $250,000 budget, so by Hollywood standards, it's considered a low-budget film. It was backed by Dread Central. It had some pretty big support. I promise you, if Dustin had $250,000, he's making fucking Titanic or Avatar or something. I mean, with what he knows how to do with the money that he has, man, you guys don't even know what he could do with half of that budget. I mean, we're talking a contender, talking Fangoria Award caliber movie. So, yeah, the budget conversation, it's a little sensitive for me, and I get kind of wound up sometimes. But low budget doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. You guys know that this movie was made for about $7,000, and it looks like a fucking $1 million.
Right. That was one of the first things we said afterwards. Was, man, imagine what they could do with a real fucking budget. It would be really interesting to see. And it's almost like, Sam Raimi, made the first Evil Dead on a shoestring budget, and then was like, now I want to come back later and revisit it with a little bit bigger budget and see what I can do with it. And you can always come back with a larger budget and make something even more fantastical with TapeHead. Stuff that there's always things you can't fully realize the way you want to with a limited budget versus what you could do with a little bit more in the coffers.
Yeah. So you guys asked earlier about a funny story, and Dustin's comment here, money don't mean shit, but better food at Crafty. It was a pretty well-known thing on set that out of the grab bag of chips, I like the Funyuns. I went to grab my bag of Funyuns in between takes, and his cat had pissed on them, so I didn't get my Funyuns. I still worked hard.
First victim of TapeHead on set that day.
TapeHead loves animals. And
Did
myself,
we deliver something that would change the genre with 100K?
Absolutely, and I firmly believe that. Like I said, I mean, I don't want to take any credit from his wife because she's his biggest supporter, but I'm like, if she's number one, I'm like 1A. I believe in that guy more than anything. I mean, if he told me he was going to make a Marvel level movie of some sort with like $1,000, I'm like, cool, let's go. I just think that he's got it in him. We talk a lot about money's important, but it doesn't replace creativity. You see a lot of movies with big budgets, and they look like trash. They'll get these crazy big budgets, and then they'll shoot it on like an antique camera to make it look like garbage. Like, what's the purpose, right? Or you'll see these big budget movies, and they don't know how to set up a scene. They don't know how to light it. They don't have that creativity. They think money they can just throw at it. If they put more flashy things in the scene, then people aren't going to notice the fact that actors are terrible or they can't light worth a shit.
Or they overcompensate with digital effects that don't look good.
Oh, absolutely.
Just take the time and do it practical and make it look good.
And that's the advantage, Dustin knows how to do what he does with the money that he's got to do these things. You get creative. You make sure that the angles are right. You don't have to have a ballistics gel $2,000 prop body or all these different things. We're talking pump sprayers and squirt bottles for blood. You're talking creativity. That's where the genius comes through. He knows how to do it with what he's got.
But I'm a styrofoam wizard. You're a wizard, Dustin. Well, speaking of flashiness and bad effects, I saw The Flash on Monday on my birthday. We'll just say this. I enjoyed TapeHead way more than I did The Flash. And the effects work and the love, the care, the attention to detail, the quality script writing was way more present in TapeHead than The Flash. And that was a multi-million-dollar flop. So
yeah, I heard the CGI is pretty rough.
They're like, oh, we meant to do that. No one means to make something look like trash. You could have done a stylistic choice, but you chose not to. Anyway, I think Shades has another question for you.
Yeah. So, you think TapeHead is ever going to square off against Mikey?
Maybe. The whole versus thing is it's a pretty hot category. Fan films and versus movies. I don't know. The audience would have to know that I'm not a giant. I always tell everybody I'm a Cinema 6'1". It's another movie magic thing that he can do. He shoots me at all the angles that I love, so we'd have to get some tricky camera angles to make it look right, but yeah.
Well, for those who don't know, we do our own spoof-ish Mikey Myers series every fall. We have for the past 3 years. Depending on how things go this year, we may or may not get something out, but yeah, if you want to check out some fun stuff, started with just a bunch of shorts, and pretty much everything is improvised from the time we start shooting till it ends as we shoot, and we shot that way as a creative exercise. So it's kind of fun. We've got a whole playlist of it on our channel if you'd like to check it out. But we had to ask because we're always looking for more things that we can do.
Yeah, as long as it's actually Michael Myers and not the strange babysitter that shows up at the last episode.
Still haven't watched the last movie.
Don't watch it, man.
Much disappointment from Dustin. I was like,
don't do it.
Back burner until there's a night where I'm like, I don't know what to watch. I'll just watch this. But I've been on a kick of all sorts of movies he'll send me or other movies I want to watch. I've been rewatching all of Justified because the new show drops next month, and I fucking love that show.
Hey, we love Timothy Oliphant. Dustin and I are huge fans.
Yeah, and him, Walter Goggins. I love Walter Goggins, man. They have great chemistry. But where would you like to see the future of TapeHead go?
I definitely am down to return to the role, man. I'd like to do another TapeHead movie at some point. I know Dustin's kind of mentioned, letting it breathe a little bit. We really want to get out there and promote this thing. You guys got to see firsthand when you get us in front of people. We are. I mean, I tried to hug or shake hands with everybody that showed up. We appreciate all the support. So we want to get out there and let people know, hey, this is what we did. This is who we are. Again, teetering on arrogance, but confidence. I feel like if you put us in front of people, we're going to win people over. I don't want to say inspiration per se, but Drew Marvick, who's in our movie, he made a name for himself on Pool Party Massacre just by being a charismatic guy. He made this movie, he got it in front of people, and people love him. They'll buy the movie, whether some of them might not even watch it. I don't know. They love that guy, and I feel like Dustin and I are the same way. The way we connect and genuinely care about people. I think if you get us in front of people, we're going to win people over, and this thing's going to sell really well. We're going to continue to try to book showings. I know he's got a couple conventions or festivals he's looking at. He's got a couple lined up. So we definitely want to get out there and promote the hell out of the return of Jacob Cobb. I know we have been talking about an anthology. He might have shared that with you guys as well. Where I get to play a character not in a costume. So, I want to flex my acting chops a little bit. he really wants to flex his creative genius. And nothing wrong with stepping away. I don't want Tapehead to just be done at this film. I want to return to that character. Whenever that may be, I'm down. As soon as he sends me that message, I'm there. We're doing it. I'm ready to go. So yeah, Tapehead never dies, but he might be on the back burner for a little bit. And then what he's got planned for his next project is, again, it's just that continuous evolution, that growth. It's ambitious. It's going to be big. He's got some pretty big plans. He's got some shorts he wants to do. So there's a lot of things on the docket for him and for me as well, because he takes me along for the ride. And, we can be like Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, not to be not that cocky, but, that's the connection. I want to be his guy. I'm his, Scorsese and DiCaprio, Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, whatever those connections are, I want to be that guy for him.
Right. Exterior night video barn. But yeah, I mean, we're always open too, whether it's needing help behind or in front of the camera. We're always down for both, and we've had a few talks on characters Thundy would like to play and things of that nature. So we've been approached about some future projects, and we did have some Easter eggs in this movie. We had a bobblehead of Shades in the background of a scene, and there may have been a Cyber Skull shirt, like our classic OG shirt that Shades is wearing in the background of a scene too. So, we appreciate you guys giving us a special thanks and dropping those things in the background, because we do anything we can for you boys. So,
and that's the thing, man. We try to return the favor. You guys have been very generous with your support of us, and that was one of the things that he was going to have in the movie. There's a couple other Easter eggs from people that have been supporters. Even the wardrobe that Hunter Foot wears is from a friend of mine. He has a brand called Giant Wolf Supply Company. He's been super supportive. We put some of his clothing in there. Will Oliver is his name. He designed that cool Woody poster. He wanted some wall art Dustin hit him up for, and he came to the table with that. There's the Pool Party Massacre poster in Tyson's room. So there's just a lot of things that, we try to share that love with people because, and again, anybody who's shown me any kind of support or compliment, I'm loyal. I love all that stuff, and it means more to me than I can ever say. I can talk here for hours, and I won't ever really drive home how much I genuinely appreciate people for resonating with these movies and giving me time. The time I get to talk to you guys. When you hit me up, I was like, oh man, absolutely. It's an honor. Anytime somebody wants to talk to me about this movie or, about working with Dustin or anything, it's a huge honor, man. I don't take it lightly.
Yeah, dude. Something he said earlier in regards to the Halloween movie. He goes, I've never been so sad in my life. Well, that's my life when it comes to Disney Star Wars movies. Just sadness and disappointment.
I feel you, man. We're on the same page there.
But we got a couple of questions here to wrap this up. One that I didn't put on here, but Shays, would you like to ask him the next question?
Yeah. What do you want people to take away from this film?
Man, I want people to take away enjoyment. It was surreal to see people watching this. A lot of them for the first time. The laughs, the emotional resonance on certain scenes. It's a roller coaster, man. Like I said, I want them to see that talent speaks. It doesn't take money. It doesn't take anything other than drive and talent. I know Dustin is very influential. He's very inspirational to a lot of these people. He gets messages a lot. I've heard from a couple people that I've talked to that he inspired them to make a movie. If you want to do it, you just need to do it. Don't talk about it. Don't be about it. Or don't talk about it. Be about it. Get out there and do what you want to do. I know you guys want to do some things. Thundy, I know you've got some ideas spinning in your head. You just got to do it. It takes talent, not money. Obviously, money is unfortunately a part of all of that, but I want people to take away that, we set out to do something, and we did it, and we did it with quality. We didn't really have to cut corners. When we were doing some cast interviews, one of the questions that Dustin posed to us was, what are some of the limitations of our budget? And genuinely, I don't feel like we were limited. I feel like we stepped up and delivered a movie that, regardless of budget, it plays well, it looks professional, it's clean, it's entertaining. Like I said, it takes you on a ride. You genuinely care about these people on screen. His son is a phenomenal actor. When he told Dustin he wanted to act, the first time we did a line through, he was probably the most prepared. I mean, he nailed his character. To see people react, people loved his role. Some of the interviews and reviews I've seen, a lot of people giving him praise, and I love it, man. It's amazing. If you've got the drive, it's infectious. All of us on set, like I said, we set out to not disappoint him. We wanted to put this thing out there, and we wanted him to be proud of what he brought to us, and we're proud of what we did for him. So I want people to take away that money doesn't matter that much. Talent takes over everything.
Yeah, Little Man kicked ass, and it was very inspiring. On the drive home from the premiere, we're just sitting there like coming up with ideas and stuff. Like it was inspiring. And speaking of the premiere, he said that was the theater that you grew up going to movies in, and how'd that make you feel? And just, is there anything else about the premiere itself that you would want to talk about, or anything like that? Because it was a great night.
No, absolutely, man. It was one of those things where, John Murray and I talked a little bit about it. John plays Alex, the creepy neighbor in our movie. He's a phenomenally talented guy. He's done some theater. He's an amazing musician. He's been in bands, his whole life. And, when I was telling him how Dustin was kind of concerned, he didn't know what to expect from a crowd. And it's the same thing for John when he was doing music. He talked about how everybody says they're going to show up, right? Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to be at your show. And then some of them do and some of them don't. So, I understand that apprehension a little bit, but when we got there and, Dustin was set up and people were coming in, as soon as the doors opened, there was an influx of people. But to see that thing sell out, I don't know that I can really put it into words, how that felt. I'll tell you, physically, I wasn't able to sleep for like 2 days, man. I'm still riding that high. It's all I can think about is that we got to stand up in front of these people and intro this movie. And yes, it's the theater I grew up in. I'm from here. It was huge to be able to premiere it in my hometown on the theater that, as a kid, man, my mom would call ahead and say, hey, look, he's 10. He can see Nightmare on Elm Street, whatever one it was, I don't remember. Let him in. He can watch Shocker. Let him in. And I grew up, man, just sitting there, me and another buddy. His mom would do the same thing. We grew up watching horror movies and just larger-than-life villains, these slasher icons. And here I am standing in front of that screen looking out at a packed house of people that are going to watch me do the same thing. There's nothing I can say that will do it justice. But, yeah, man, it's a high that I'm still riding. It's crazy.
Right on. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to ask Shades?
Negative. It was pretty good talk.
Was there anything else you would like to say, or any other wise words you'd like to leave with the chat, with whoever's watching this video?
Yeah, man, just a huge thank you to everybody, everybody that's in the chat hanging out. Like you guys, a huge thank you to you guys for being on board from the very first TapeHead. You guys have been hugely supportive. And like I said, I'm a loyal guy. I'm going to try to return that favor. I'm going to try to hype you guys up. I'm going to try to push you guys out there as well. The rising tide raises all ships or something like that. I'm not super good at euphemisms, but I want everybody to win, man. I'm not a hater. I'm not a guy that's trying to step on people to get anywhere. That's just not me. That's not my way. I want people to pay attention to everybody. Anybody that's giving us time. Whether it be a message, a phone call, people stopping in when I'm at work, telling me what they think about the movie. Man, just keep watching, keep paying attention. This is the second project. This is the first feature-length film that Dustin and Megan put out, and look at where we're at. We sold out a theater. Not a lot of people can say that. So pay attention. Keep watching what he's doing, and I promise you, anytime he says he's going to do something, don't find out last. Jump on board from the get-go. I promise you he will deliver above and beyond what anybody expects. And it's a climb. From here on out, the next project will be bigger. More people are paying attention. Financing is eventually going to start rolling in. But this is just the beginning for 3D video and Dustin and Megan and hopefully myself. Where he goes, I want to go.
Awesome. Well, it's been a blast having you on tonight, and we are going to give away this copy of TapeHead now that's been signed. If you want in on this drawing, type a simple 1 in the chat, and I will add you to the roulette wheel. If we only have one person do it, guess who gets it? If no one does it, I guess that we save it for a future. Oh, we got one. We got one
he
in the
doesn't
chat.
count.
Anybody else want a signed copy of TapeHead?
It's autographed.
Wants it. Oh, there's number 2. We have nearly the whole cast. I think we missed 2 or 3 people, 3 or 4 people, but we got most of the cast on here. So
it's historical too, because it's from that sold out premiere.
It is. It's from the sold out premiere. I put you in there. You're in there. It says TapeHead Never Dies, and we got signatures on the front, a signature on the back. But yeah. So it looks like it's between 2 people. 2 people right now. This is gonna be interesting. I will get this wheel set up. If anybody else.
And the movie has been opened, but it's never been watched.
Right. We had to take the plastic off to get it signed. So it looks like we've got 2 people tonight. Most of our regulars were all busy tonight. And they're like, I hate that I'm
2
busy.
people. You got a coin?
Watch this back as soon as I can. Like, well, you're going to miss out on the drawing.
Is Groovy Movie still in here?
No, he's still in here. Groovy Movie. We'll give you guys a few minutes.
He might be holding out because I was going to ship him a care package anyway. That's my buddy Sean up in Canada. We do a gift exchange kind of. He sends me local stuff from Vancouver Island and hook him up with Iowa stuff, and he's going to get one anyway. So maybe he wants to let somebody else get a shot.
That's fine. If you're watching tonight and haven't said a word, feel free to go ahead and type a 1 in the chat. We'll give you a couple more minutes here before we spin the wheel. Otherwise, you got a 50-50 chance right now of winning a signed copy of TapeHead. We had to get an extra because I had to have one that was signed. Jay's had to have one that was signed. Crude, who couldn't make it tonight because of his health, had to have one that was signed. So I had like 5 signed copies that night. So
I think I did a genius thing.
What? You froze yourself?
I had one signed too, and it says it's to me, but I think that's going to be my rental copy. So that way people take care of it and give it back.
Yeah, you got your name on it.
The whole drive home, we're like, who else could we send a copy to that would enjoy this movie? We just want to get the word out there as much as possible. Go see this movie. Support indie creators. I'm supporting the Rippaverse again tonight. That's an indie comic book creator that just launched last summer. TapeHead shirts. We got to support all these indie creators out here because they're the only ones now who have free creative reign on all their projects. I don't have anyone to tell them, no, you can't do that. So, well, I guess if that's all we've got, if we've got 2 people in it, because Epic Adventures, that's Shades.
I got a quarter.
You got a quarter? Well, I figured I'd just... Oh! How the sausage is made right there.
Okay.
I will spin this wheel that is
Fine.
usually...
I'll put my quarter away. My money's no good here.
Full of hot sauces. As you notice, we have TapeHead sauce on our wheel when people tip for hot shots. But
hey,
all right, here we go.
Give it to Rocket Powder.
Give it to Rocket Powder.
M's to the extreme. She's my wife. She's just trying to pad the stats, I think.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Rocket Powder.
She's got a signed copy.
Else.
All right.
Well, congratulations, Rocket Powder, on your signed copy of TapeHead. you can go home and watch it now. And we will also be doing a watch party on our channel in the near future, but we want to, you know, get people to try to buy their copy first. But, you know, we got several people who are like, oh, I don't have Blu-ray. Oh, this, that, or the other thing. And I'm like, well, you know, we'll help you get it figured out. Blu-ray players aren't that expensive anymore. Consoles. I just got an external one for my computer back there because it doesn't have any CD drives. So that's how we had to watch it with old Crude, was I had to get one so that we could all three watch together, since he's...
Who builds a computer without a CD drive anyway?
I mean, most modern computers now don't have any sort of disk drive. But all right, well, congratulations, Rocket Powder, on your new copy. He said he's going to buy another copy too. That's what we like to hear. That's
we
what
love that.
Like
that helps us make the next movie.
Exactly. I didn't get to help with the crowdfunding, but I have bought 2 t-shirts and 5 copies of the movie so far. So we want to see you boys do more, make more, and do your thing. So
yeah, all that stuff helps, man. Any support, even if you don't have money, you know, you can help us out. Just share like these interviews, share the links, give us a like. Just even hit us up, message us, tell us what you think. You know, it's cool. You know, every little bit helps. You don't have to throw a whole bunch of money at us to help us. And there's a lot of ways to help promote this thing without even dropping a dime.
Absolutely. You just go like, share, subscribe to 3B Videos content, to our content, to anyone who makes a Tapehead interview. I know there's more stuff out there from Dustin, and there's more stuff coming for Dillon, and I'm sure there's going to be even more once this starts hitting the circuit hard. So share all this stuff, man. Help spread the gospel of Tapehead. Spread the gospel of Tapehead. Well, do we have anything else you'd like to say? Talk about anything you'd like to promote coming up?
No, next Saturday I'm going live with VHS Mikey, you know, our homie from the original Tapehead movie. I recorded an interview last Friday with Check the Candy guys, super rad dudes. It blows my mind, you know, I'm talking to a guy in Maine and a guy in Tennessee, and here I am in Iowa, and like, this movie has reached people everywhere. I got a message from a lady that has a collectibles horror store in Vegas. She's selling the movie. Like I said, one of my best friends now, man. He lives in Canada. I met him through 3B Video. It's wild, man. It's just wild that this thing is coast to coast. Like I said, my friend Will Oliver, man, he's down in southern Georgia. So this thing is just growing, and it's amazing. Dustin and Megan, you know, I love you guys. Do anything for you, and thank you for letting me play your killer.
Awesome. Well, we've got
thank you.
We've got I've been doing a special Wednesday afternoon stream. There's a channel I like that's doing a mock trial for Disney, putting them on trial for murdering the Star Wars franchise. I've been streaming every Wednesday afternoon. But then our typical streams are every Thursday night. We have Gaming with Thundy. That is either all 3 of us, or 2 of us, or just me. It just depends on the week. Right now, when it's the 3 of us, we're playing Back for Blood, which is a Left 4 Dead successor. When it's just been Shades and I, we started the Gears of War, the OG Gears of War game, and we've been playing through that. And then I started Amnesia. One of the newest Amnesia games, The Bunker, Thursday night, which is a horror game where Andy doesn't really play horror games, except for like I got like 400 hours in Dead by Daylight years ago. But it's been interesting playing it. You know, I had the lights down. It's been fun. And then usually we do a Cyber School Lounge once or twice a month. It's either a movie discussion or we've been starting interviews. So if there's someone you'd like to see us interview, let us know, get them in contact with us, and we'll see if we can sort that out. So otherwise we'll be taking a large, 1 to 2 month break near the end of July through August. So hoping to return in September after Thundy is all recovered from surgery. But yeah, Mr. 3B said I've been contacting all still active video stores and sending copies of the movie to them. Well, that's dope. That's dope. We're gonna have TapeHead coast to coast here pretty soon.
We're trying.
Internationally, man. We got to get it up to Canada. I got a friend in Canada who likes horror movies. I might have to send her a copy. You know, we're just trying to spread the gospel of TapeHead. So, well, all right. Thank you for being on tonight, sir. This was a blast. I'm glad you enjoyed the salsa.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
You got anything else, Shades, before we roll up out of here?
No, sir.
Well, thank you everyone in chat who came out tonight. We know people be busy during the summer. Thank you anyone who's watching this back right now and gets this far. You're fucking awesome, and you definitely have some willpower. I know not everybody likes to watch, you know, almost feature-length movie live streams, but I can't get enough of them. I watch live streams all the time. So,
oh, me too, man. I love it.
But yeah, we got more of this stuff planned. We, like I said, we're going to be dropping a TapeHead premiere video at some point. We're going to do a review, probably more in the fall, I would say. But it's going to be a blast. So we might have Dustin back or Dillon back for just to talk about a movie or to play some video games or something like that in the future now that we've had them on. So anyone we interview is more than welcome to come back whenever they would like. So thank you,
Count
sir.
me in.
It's been
Thanks, man.
Been a great night. Thank you, everyone. And I guess that's about it, unless Shades decides he needs to monologue.
I thought about taking my shirt off, but I mean,
usually that's $100 donation, Shades. Oh, we got the flex. We got the flex on him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. We won't drag this out any further. This is Cyber Skull Media. That is TapeHead. And we're out of here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Peace.
We wanna thank you all, from the likes to the views. Reading all your words makes this whole thing true. Cyber Skull Media is here because of you. From Shades, Thundy, and that dude crew to say thank you. Yeah, I say thank you. Yeah, we say thank you. Yeah, we say thank you. We out.